Hello, everyone. Are you there?
Hello, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the event. Can you hear me? If you can hear me, I want us to signify that we can hear me loud and clear. So we are about to start the program, and I would like to welcome all our attendees. Thank you for joining. Thank you for joining the program today. And while we wait for the other invited guest, we have one of our invited guests in our midst. And I would like to honor his will to who is little. So can we hear me? Okay, I am your moderator for this event, and my own name is Egbeyale Shola Oreoluwa, a graduate of Ladoke Akintola University of Technology, 2020. I studied urban and regional planning, and from there I proceed to serve at Delta State, where I also serve with them as the town planner, the chief town planning officer. And from there, I'll go on to uh, be on my own. So the event is starting proper now. The event is starting proper now. And I want to know if we can hear me very well. I want us to be in the comment section to know if you can see me and hear me very well.
We can hear you loud and clear, Mr. Moderator.
Thank you very much. I've seen the confirmation. So we start the event proper. So I'm welcoming, I can see Timothy Morenikeji, Adeniran Ibrahim Ade, Krishna, one time, sorry, Olufemi, Jones, Dave Time, Next Gen Urban League of this, and our first speaker, Babajide Oluwase, and our second speaker, Dr. Olalekan Aduloju. Thank you for coming. Thank you for being here. And the event is starting proper now. And what's the topic of our event before we start? The topic of our event is unlocking financial opportunities for urban planners in academia and entrepreneurship. We have our invited guest who will do justice to these, and we hope each and everyone that are here will not only be filled, but will be filled as they give us their insight over the years they've graduated, where they've been to, what they've been on to. It will be an eventful program, and I want us to stay calm and here as they take on their journey, so that we that are upcoming urban planners will know where and what to do, where to put our eggs and how to put it, so that it can give us more income, so that it can give us more revenue. You know, urban regional planning is evolving, and if we don't evolve with it, you'll be left out. And it's a matter of time. Before you know it, everything is digitalized. Before, it used to be pencil and paper, but now everything is on system. Everything is about connecting. You cannot sit in one place and be there. So I'll move straight to the order of events. I welcome the attendees and I've opened the ground. So who we are, so I will leave that one to the director. So the director can take charge from here. So our director, can we have you?
Right. Thank you very much, Mr. Moderator. And I really want to appreciate you for that simple welcome address given to us. Timothy Keji. I'm the Director of Research and Development of this organization. So I'll be walking us through who we are at the City Visionary Initiative for Urban Development. This organization is a non-for-profit urban planning organization that was founded in the year 2020, and we get incorporated early this year. And our major mission is to advocate for a sustainable and inclusive urban planning practice that enhances the quality of life in urban communities. This we have been doing based on our different objectives. The first one is to promote the environmentally responsible urban development. The second one is to advocate for a equitable access to urban resources and services. The third objective is to collaborate with relevant stakeholders to develop and to implement effective urban planning policies, while the last one is to conduct the research and providing education on urban planning best practices. We have four thematic areas where we make use of to achieve all these stated objectives. The first one is advocacy. And in our home best little way, we have been advocating for a an inclusive urban planning environment. And the second one is the capacity building, which at the end of this event, there is an announcement we're going to make on our forthcoming flagship program. So that speaks about capacity building. The third one is collaboration. We believe so much in synergizing with people of like mind, and that's the reason why we do collaborate with relevant stakeholders to advance the practice of urban planning beyond Nigerian soil, even at Africa at large. And the last one is the research. We are so much keen into data-driven research, and going forward, applications and so on and so forth. So that's the brief about who we are at the City Visionary. So I'll be handing over back to the moderator to carry on with the program. Thank you for having me. You are muted, sir. Mr. Moderator, you need to unmute yourself.
Oh, sorry. I don't know that I was mute. Okay, thank you, Mr. Timothy Keji, our director. Thank you very much for the who we are. So next is overview of the event. And the overview of the event is very clear. Number one, why are we having this event? Number one is funding opportunities in academia. And this is exploring grants, scholarship, and research fundings that are available to urban planners and urban students who are willing to progress their academics but have little or no funds, so that they can connect, they can come, they can know one or two or the other to progress their career. The other one is entrepreneurial and non-research financial opportunities. This is identifying business, consultancy, and alternative funding avenues for professionals. These are the two overview of the event that our invited guests, that they will be honored to give us their insight and what they have since done, and how we that we are coming behind can also key in and do one or two to make it happen. So I will be inviting our guest now. Our first guest, our first speaker is Mr. Babajide Oluwase. Mr. Babajide Oluwase is a graduate of urban regional planning who has evolved into a businessman, innovator, sustainability advocate, and urban manager. He is the CEO and co-founder of Ecotutu, a clean tech company that won the Zenith Bank Future Forward Tech Fair securing 20 million prize money. You can see that's a lot of money. You can see that these people are well embedded. They have the knowledge, they have everything that we want. And last year, co-founded another company, Nevs, a company that leveraged AI-powered location technology to enhance decision-making for business and government in emerging markets. Our second speaker, that is TPL Olalekan Aduloju. He is a registered member of Nigeria Institute of Town Planners, NITP, and Town Planners Registration Council of Nigeria, that is TOPREC. As a student of or graduate of town planning, we all know these two bodies, and they are very, very important. He has over 10 years of experience as a lecturer in Department of Urban Regional Planning at the University of Ilorin. Mr. Aduloju has received research grants and was awarded the prestigious Commonwealth Scholarship for his PhD, which is currently ongoing at the Chester University in United Kingdom. He also served as a visiting lecturer at the university. These are the two invited guests we have for us today. And I would like to proceed to our first speaker so that he can guide us on the first topic that will be waging into, which is the funding opportunities in academia, exploring the grant, scholarship, and research funding. That is no other person than Mr. Jide Oluwase. Mr. Jide Oluwase, thank you for coming, and we are glad to have you. Can you please take on the mic now, as we'll be glad to hear from you.
Hi, good afternoon. Confirm you can hear me, please. Confirm you
Your
can hear me.
answer.
Are you able to hear me, Shola? Okay, thank you, Olufemi. I'm not sure Shola can hear me because Shola was just staring at the screen and okay. Maybe I can get more response in the chat to confirm that I can test it. All right, Shola can hear me. Alrighty, so I'm just gonna get right into it. Let me share my screen.
We can hear you, sir. Continue, sir.
So allow me be able to share my screen. I've just requested for it now. Shola, I think you might have to end the current order of programs that you've shared to enable me to be able to share my screen. Hey, I think this works now. Yeah, can you see the screen?
Yes, we can.
All right. Okay, I don't know why it's taking so long. All right. So let's just get this going. Okay. So good afternoon, everyone. Yeah. So my name is Babajide. I'll be speaking on the topic of unlocking financial opportunities for urban planners. I do hope that we're able to take at least one or two nuggets away from this conversation. And where has my screen gone to? Okay. Guys, can you see the screen at all?
The screen is
Yes, we can see your screen.
Okay, you can see my screen. Okay, even though I can see my screen. But okay, so yeah, unlocking
see you, sir.
financial for urban planners, specifically speaking to entrepreneurship. While I was putting this together, I was asking myself, um, what specific financial opportunity would be best applicable to the audience? From what I've gathered, we have in this room, in this virtual room, urban planning students, maybe recent urban planning graduates. And I think the nuggets that will be shared will be somewhat cross-cutting, so applicable beyond urban planners, right? But specifically speaking more around entrepreneurship. And myself being an urban planner, I can also be able to share some of the experiences I've had, right, in terms of unlocking financial opportunities for my business. But one thing I want us to keep in mind as we get the conversation going is unlocking financial opportunity is one thing. Another thing is what are you specifically unlocking this financial opportunity for, right? Keep that in mind. I'm sure we'll be able to sort of address it in the course of our. I hope this could be like an interaction, just so that it doesn't seem like I'm talking to myself. So maybe at different points, if you need to maybe drop question, drop pointers in the chat, I think I would really appreciate that, just to be sure that we are together in this. Yes. So I'll start with my journey, right? And I would believe that at some point in this narrative, maybe some of us, if not all of us on this call, might be able to connect to that journey. And maybe that can also help you in putting your entrepreneurial interest or passion into perspective. So first, I'm a graduate of urban and regional planning from the Federal University of Technology, Akure, and also recently a graduate of urban management, master's in urban management from the University of Lagos. So yes, fast forward, done with my first degree in urban planning. I would say even as an undergrad, I've always been very much itchy towards getting involved in addressing issues. So in this case, it could be sustainability or environmental issues. I heard about in the introduction of the organization that was talked earlier, how you do advocacy. So advocacy was one of the areas that I sort of started with in terms of environmental sustainability. And fast forward to my final days in uni, I was more interested in advancing the sustainability course, but somewhat doing it in a different approach, right? I quickly realized, and I think this is also thanks to some of the training and exposure I've had, like at that very early phase of my growth. I was able to identify business as a force for good, right? advocacy, sensitization, and other sort of things, as you may be aware, are mostly done or typically done through non-profit platforms, what you call like non-governmental organization. But I want to be able to bring about change in that regard, using business as a force for good, right? So I've had that understanding, and I would say again, that understanding was sort of stemmed from some of the training, some of the exposure that I've had built up to that time. And yes, I mean, I've built or created quite a number of um, of solutions specifically targeted at solving different problems, right? Again, the conversation here is about unlocking financial opportunities, but financial opportunity is just one leg of it. Something needs to happen before you even start thinking about unlocking financial opportunities, right? We'll get to that in the course of our conversation here. So yes, that's me. Uh, Done with uni, identify problems. At some point, I published a book using stories and animations to talk about climate change for kids. This was me wanting to address the knowledge gap on the subject. And I thought, of course, after researches and interaction with other people and like minds, we're able to identify this resource as a veritable tool to help in propagating that message to younger people. Because again, I can still remember most of the animations and cartoons that I watched growing up as a kid, right? And then we thought that could be a good way for us to drive down that message for younger people. Fast forward to my first, I mean, I've done quite a number of businesses, but like, so the notable one in this case is Eco22. Eco22 was set up to provide solar powered cold chain solutions for businesses in the food and agriculture value chain. So essentially, we wanted to solve the problem of food waste, right? Food waste is one of the major contributing factors to greenhouse gas emissions, to even methane emissions, right? And yes, advocating for it on one side, but at the same time, thinking around what solution can we create to help in solving this problem. And as we're solving this problem, we're also able to get economic value in return, in this case, which is money, which is revenue, right? And so, yeah, the journey into Eco22 started. I didn't do Eco22 alone. I had to bring together like minds with complementary skills and capabilities and experience. We had to first, of course, do prototypes in our own way to show that this works, and then be able to also learn what the market really needs for us to solve the problem. Eco22 for me sort of sits in that sweet spot, right, of solving social, environmental, and economic problem, right? Food waste in itself contributes largely to environmental degradation. That's one. Food waste also contribute to social issues, right? For environment or people dealing with doing the business of food, the fact that they have to continuously deal with food waste in the line of their business, it's just a matter of time. They most likely would leave that business and go do something else, right? And again, for a growing population like ours, we need more food to be produced. And so if that is not addressed at a very scalable level, it means that the potential for hunger, the potential for food insecurity is very wide. And finally, is the economic side. Be it farmer, aggregator, or retailer, anyone that plays in the food value chain, the more of their produce that goes to waste, right? The more of the more loss they would have in their business, like week on week, month on month. And that's economic loss in itself. And so Eco22 sort of sits in that sweet spot of solving this problem across these three different, very important areas. And yes, we've been able to build that into like a solid business where, of course, we created employment. We've solved these businesses for thousands of farmers and retailers and aggregators across the value chain. And we've made quite some money from it. Of course, we need to make more money, right? Bills are piling. And we want to be able to also grow and scale beyond what we've been able to do to date, right? So that's the ecosystem journey. And then the very recent one is nerves, right? I think nerves can also be somewhat connected to some of the experiences I've had, right? So in the course of my entrepreneurial journey, I've also worked on quite a number of urban planning related projects, right? As a consultant. But before then, I had worked in an actual planning firm, as they call it, or planning consulting company, right? Where I'd also gained like first-hand experience on the field doing proper planning work. So from layout design, master plan development, environmental impact assessment, environmental management plan, action area plan, and a whole mix of other things that you can imagine that is being done within an urban planning consulting company. So yeah, there's that part of my life as well. And over time, we've seen consistently how the issue of data, right, or data latency or data recency becomes issues on projects. Like no matter the scope and scale of the project, if we don't get the data right from the onset, then the project is even bound to fail. And then we've seen this reoccur again and again and again over time. And this also cut across beyond planning, right? And I've seen this as an opportunity, right? It's a gap and an opportunity. And I decided to pursue it. And I'm not pursuing this alone. Like I've also brought together like minds, like I did for Eco22 with complementary skills and capabilities. And here we are now trying to innovate and build around really solving the data problem that can help, of course, loads of planning projects and also beyond planning across other sectors, right? And as you can imagine, that planning is cross-cutting. Like you can't just say planning is planning. Planning is in agriculture. Planning is in transportation. Planning is in security. Planning is in it. Whatever you can think of, like that has to do with human essence. And I'm sure we all know this. They say we are the custodian of the environment. And yeah, so in the
Mr.
course
Babajide,
of,
sir.
yeah,
Thank you. And please, I can see that you have 3 more slides to go. Can we proceed fast? Because we have 20 minutes for you, sir. Thank you
there are
I can
actually
see
more
that
than
you have
three more
more
slides.
slides to go. Can we be faster, please?
All
Sorry,
right,
sir.
great. Yeah,
So that we
so
can move
again,
faster.
I'm sort of stressing on my journey just to also be able to sort of share very practical essence in this conversation rather than just coming to tell you what to do and what not to do. Yeah, so thank you. So you may ask yourself, how does planning training prepares you for the world of business, the entrepreneurial side, right? And these are like the 4 points I've been able to draw up. Problem solving, as we are aware in planning that it's all about solving problem and all about making life livable and suitable for everyone as we grow. System thinking. So in planning, nothing stands alone, right? You can't say you want to solve the problem of transportation and not think about the land allocation, and not think about the housing, and not think about how people will get there, and not think about the economics of it. So it's interconnected. So thinking in this direction for whatever business or problem you say to solve is very important. Planning also prepares you for stakeholder engagement. I'm sure maybe from like second year, you're already going to the field, you're already interacting with people of different types. You remember when they say planning with the people and not for the people. This is also very essential in the world of entrepreneurship and business. And finally, yes, the big vision, right? You know about the immediate planning and then the long-term plan, right? Business is also all about that. It's all about the big vision. What value can you create on the long run? And then the next point is now, which of course very connected to topic, is about unlocking opportunity. It's really all about identifying gaps, right? And filling it. And then the question that probably some of you might be asking, so how then do we identify gaps? No worries, I've got you covered. The first point is that you need to look at patterns of things around you, right? You don't have to look far, right? What are the issues that are occurring around you? In what context are these issues occurring? And how continuous, how consistent is it? That gives you a sense of something to pay attention to. The next one is to listen to complaints. What are people complaining about? What are people yearning about? What are people discussing, right? What are people frustrated about? It could be your colleagues, it could be your friends, it could be your families, it could be your neighbors. You need to look there. The third point is you need to stay curious, right? Stay curious, asking questions. What is going on? What are they doing in this regard? How can we improve this? How can we improve that, right? And finally, it's about cross-pollination, right? What solution is being used in transport that you can adapt for housing? What solution is being used in the energy sector that you can adapt in the agriculture sector? And that's what we did. We're able to leverage renewable energy in Eco22, which is solar, to help solve a very important problem in the food and agriculture sector. So in terms of getting started, right? Like, okay, so after all of this, I know, how do I even move from here? You need to build your knowledge base. It's very important. It's in building your knowledge that you're able to clearly articulate the gaps you've identified and how to go about solving it. There's a cross-disciplinary connections that you need to build. So, of course, you need to build friendship connections beyond planning. Be able to learn things from other people's perspective. The stakeholder engagement piece, remember, is very critical in this regard. You need to start small, right? Like the big things, the amazing thing that you've seen people build around, you need to start from the smallest point within your reach. You don't need to go far, trying to find a solution to that point. And then to the meat of the conversation, which is the funding pathways. So how do I get fund to drive my entrepreneurship opportunity? And these are like some of the options. Bootstrapping here means that you need to start with your own money, or money from your friends, or money from your family to show evidence, right? Or to show workings. Before you can start getting grants, before you can start getting angel investments or any other type of investment, you need to have also shown that you believe in what you're trying to do. You believe in the problem you're trying to solve. And you've also put your resource into it. And this is where and when other people can equally join you to believe in what you're trying to build, to do that. So there's the grant options, there's angel investors. Angel is for friends, families, and foes, people around you that could say a thing or two about you and could trust you with maybe whatever amount to get you started. Then you have the strategic partnerships. These usually come after you've built some traction, some track records. So they can say a thing or two about you, they can vouch for you. You can plug into such partnerships to help you quickly scale what you're trying to do. And there's the institutional investment, which is in this case the VCs, that's the venture capital firm, and the private equity funds, which are usually for mostly tech-enabled or tech-focused companies, right? For you to rapidly scale and grow your impact. In the course of doing all of these, there are challenges that you might face, right? Identity shifts. You're coming from a planning background, you're trying to solve a problem, and then you're not sure whether the solution you're trying to solve to prefer fits in that space, owing to the background that you're coming from. The second one is technical gaps. Maybe you don't have all of the skills that you need to drive that, especially in this world of technology, right? The third one is market education. Maybe you don't have as much knowledge or understanding about the market needs of the solution you're trying to create. And the final one is imposter syndrome. Of course, you always get this again and again. The farther you want to go, the more you're likely to face this. Like asking yourself, am I supposed to be here? Am I even fit in this place? Am I qualified to drive this? You get that a lot. How then do you overcome this? You need to, of course, find communities and networks of fellow thinkers, of fellow doers, of fellow builders, right? And be part of them. And that's where you are now also be able to learn that you are not alone and you don't think this alone, and you can always lean on your support to do whatever you need to do. There are incubator centers as well. There are loads of them across the country that you can identify and plug yourself into. And then it's also the part of you having to bootstrap. You need to show workings, right? You need to show workings that what you're trying to do works, what you're trying to do can work, or what you're trying to do, there's really a need for it out there. And what's the best way to show working other than you putting your own resource? It could be your money, it could be your time, it could be your skill into it. Thank you very much. I do hope that you have questions for me, and I'll be very much glad to take those questions. But again, remember, for you to chase financial opportunities and unlock them, you need to first identify real problems. You don't have to look far, look around, identify real problems and provide viable solution to be able to solve this problem. Then you can pursue and unlock financial opportunities to grow and scale such offerings. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Mr. Babajide Oluwaseun. That's really an exciting one. That's really very educative. That's very educative. Thank you very much. Thank you for your time. Thank you for coming. And I hope all our attendees all are jotting down their questions, because we want to make it faster and very brief. So we'll be having our second guest speaker, so that after he has delivered his own part too, then we can have questions. I think that will be better and faster. So our second speaker, I'll be welcoming TPL Olalekan Aduloju. I hope I got it right. Sorry for my pronunciation, sir. So he will be taking us on entrepreneurial and non-research financial opportunities, which means through identifying businesses, consultancy, and alternative funding avenues for professionals. So to you, sir, TPL Olalekan Aduloju, can we have you, sir?
Yes, thank you very much, Shola. Can you hear me?
Good evening, sir. Welcome, sir.
Yes. A very good afternoon to everyone. I believe that everyone can hear me. And let me thank you for that very flamboyant introduction. Thank you very much. So please permit me to share my screen. And it's really nice seeing everyone. And it's a rare privilege to be here. And I'm happy to join you guys. Sorry, just a moment. Please, can you all see my screen? Please, if you can see my screen, please, could you just respond?
Yes, I can from here.
Okay. Okay. Thank you very, very much. Just like I said, thank you very much for that flamboyant introduction. My name is Olaliko Aduluju, and the idea of today is for me to speak on unlocking financial opportunities for urban planners through the academic lens. And thank you to Babajide for opening the floor. At least I think you said a lot about some of the things I might be saying from the academic perspective and how we get to intersect at later on. So, my name is Olaliko Adiloju. I'm a member of Nigeria Institute of Town Planners. Today makes it, unless the last month makes it 7 years of being a town planner. I mean, a corporate member. Then I'm a registered town planner and I'm an associate fellow of Higher Education Academy here in the UK. So I'm an assistant professor at the University of Ilorin, Nigeria, a doctoral student and visiting lecturer at the University of Chester. And my research focus is on spatial temporal dynamics of cities, urban political ecology, necropolitics of place, and environmental health. And that's my email. You can always network even after this event. Maybe I've said something that you don't agree with, or perhaps you think that maybe there might be future collaboration. Please, that's my email. And if you do request for my slide after this, I'll be more than willing to share with you. So just like I said, my own is to come from the academic perspective. And I'll tell you that today inscribes me in a clarion call to discuss a very topical issue that more or less occupies my intellectual life and everyday thinking. And just like what Babajide was saying, just drawing an insight on that. Yes, we all know what the academic opportunities are, but the point is, how do we get there? So it's about asking the wisdom question and the knowledge question. There are two questions, the question of how, the question of why. So how do we get there? That's the knowledge question that we need to ask ourselves. So we all know what it means. We need scholarships, we need research positions and all that. It's a common knowledge. But the question is, how do we get there? Many people fail to get there because they don't know how to get there, or because they often miss one or two things. So mine will just be to guide us through what we often miss. So I will be unfolding my discussions under three themes. And the first one is the principles of three E's: experience, enthusiasm, and expectations. Then the second one is the opportunity hacks. Definitely, maybe sometimes the three E's, even if we have them, but what happens regarding the opportunity hacks? There's some little tips that if we are not mindful of to get the needed academic positions or academic opportunities might be a bit difficult. Then the third one is, what are the opportunities out there? So permit me to talk on the first one, which is the experience. Yes, many of us, it's a word that we are all conversant with. We use it almost every day, right? But I try to see experience as it's about positioning yourself to attract opportunities. It's about the different positions that you try to find yourself to attract opportunities. As maybe young planners, that the dream of you being a registered town planner begins by you being begins by you studying urban planning. It's just about thinking very broadly that the best way to predict future is to create one. So it's about getting that position. But it's not just about that. Experience is about taking advantage of 3 epistemological standpoints of life chance theory. And what are these epistemological standpoints? One is the academic experience. You must be well-grounded. Or urban planning, like what is it that you have graduated with in terms of the academic degrees? What about the needed certifications? I started by saying that, oh, I'm a member of the Nigerian Institute of Town Planners, I'm a registered town planner, all that. You all need that for you to get to where you're going. Then what about the research outputs? Thankfully, I have my friend in the house, Dr. Ibrahim Adeniro, and we've had a lot of research, outputs together. And that's to tell you that for us to get to where we are today, we need that. So your research output, how well have you contributed to the body of knowledge? It gets to the point that people are no longer interested in the academic degrees. Like, oh, you made a first class. Okay. What else again have you done? How well have you, how have you tested that degree? So then what about the professional experience? Oh, the qualifications, the certifications, they're very, very important. Then the third one, in which I might hammer on a little bit, the voluntary activities, the distinctive activities that measures your selfless attitude. This is how we get to know that you're not a selfish person. And I'll cite an example very quickly. Someone tried to reach out to me that, oh, please, I need you to help me review my application, scholarship application. And I was like, oh, yes, I do that. I'm willing, more than willing to help you, which is still more even one of the voluntary activities, right? And the very first thing I get to read from there was talking about money, talking about there's nothing on voluntary. And I said, the way your mindset is conditioned, you don't have the needed experience to attract scholarship. Because I can't even see where you've demonstrated to be a selfless person. Because the point is, someone is trying to fund you, they don't even know you from Adams, but they want to try to fund you, and the only thing you're saying is, oh, yes, I have the academic degree, I have the whatever. But the question is, how do you reach other areas that they can't reach? You must understand that the kind of opportunities given to you is the ability for you to reach other areas they cannot reach. So, the measures your selfless attitude and commitment to global citizenship. The idea is for us to come together and make sure that we get to where we're going. And the third one is about 2 things that drive experience. Every day, we're all given the chance to a bright, a brand new day. We're all given that chance. But the point is, what choice do you have? What choice do you make with that chance? So you might have all the experience needed. If you make a wrong choice, then all the experience are just for nothing. And that is why you notice that it becomes a case of a round peg in a square hole. So the experience is needed, and it talks about that position that you must find yourself to attract opportunities. So that takes me to the second one, which is enthusiasm. Enthusiasm, sorry, just a moment. Yeah. Enthusiasm, in dealing with that, you want to ask yourself, what inspires you to get out of bed every morning? Do you start your day with enthusiasm and energy? Or is it just another day that, oh, let me just, it's another day, let's just rough it? Your enthusiasm is about why you need this opportunity. It must be demonstrated to the fullest extent. It's about asking yourself tough questions. Oh, for instance, if you're a married person, if divorce come knocking today, can I still forge ahead with my academic pursuit, like my doctoral pursuit, for instance? Oh, if I lose someone very close to me, like a first-degree grief, can I still forge ahead? It's about asking yourself some very, very tough questions. It's about developing wide-ranging motivations, yet aligns with recruiters' expectations. It's one thing for you to be motivated, but whoever that wants to take you in, your expectations must be speaking to each other. So it's not just about, for instance, what motivates me is I think it's about financial freedom. I need more money. Oh yes, we need more money. But what the recruiter actually wants is someone that he can contribute in developing their skills. And yours is just about money, but you're not talking about that. Then there's a clash in enthusiasm. So your enthusiasm must align with the recruiter's expectation. And it's always very demonstrated in whatever brief, in whatever call that you see. This is who we are looking out for. Does your own motivation aligns with it? So as much as motivation needs the right environment to develop, I'm not going to argue that. But sometimes motivation that relies on environment too much is quite unsustainable. Because I'll cite what Claston Farbert once said. He said, passion fades away when you leave the usual surroundings. Many want to be a professor, but the moment you leave the academic environment and you pivot into another environment, the motivation dies. The enthusiasm, the zeal to do that thing that you said that you want to do within the academic space dies. So it simply now tells us that motivation can be viewed from two perspectives. It can be viewed as an internal motivation and an external motivation. But the most important one is the internal motivation. An example is, you're applying for a scholarship position and you're demonstrating that, why do you even need this scholarship position? And you tell them that to develop my skills and knowledge, that's valid everywhere. Because definitely you want to be a better version of yourself every day. Or you get to tell them that to work with big names in my field. I've had the opportunities of, working with, or let's say I've had that motivation that I want my own name to be heard in the midst of these big professors. And I have the names in my head. I want my name to be cited along with Gandhi, Swinogadu, Ali and Kale, etc. So that could be a very huge motivation, which causes it is internal, it is personal. Anywhere you get to, it remains with you. So, all fascinated by the topic and you want to learn more. I chose my own research topic just through the smell. Through my own nose, I wanted to gas my car and I realized that where's the stench coming from? And I realized that, okay, this looks like a brown field. And I wanted to know more. What are the social economic, or let's just say broadly, socioecological implications of this? Then the external motivation are quite, not reliable. Like I want to make the world a better place. The responsibilities of making the world a better place does not rest on one person's shoulder alone. It's something that we must understand. Or to win a prize or recognition, what if the funder or whoever that wants to recognize you have a change of heart? Does that mean that you have to stop your academic pursuit? So that's an example that kind of motivation is not going to work. So the best form of motivation is about the internal motivation. So that takes us to the third one, expectations. And you can say that they're procedural. You need that experience for you to build your motivation. And your motivation, you need the expectations because you must be able to attach it to something. So anticipated opportunities and outcomes envisioned out of certain values. Now, in bracket, experience and enthusiasm. What is it that you want to achieve? Your expectation must be broad enough to fuel your motivation. The experiences you have today, you must remember that we once expectations, right? So it's about building, for those of us that know how to build Lego very well. So it's about building. The realistic position, you see yourself, and I highlighted realistic because your expectations must be realistic, not unrealistic ones. You want to make the world a better place. It sounds like unrealistic, right? So your expectations must be realistic. See yourself to impact real change. It is about knowing where you're going. And the one that I really loved most was me thinking that your expectation benchmarks how you want the society to view you. If you're pursuing a PhD degree, definitely being a doctor places a new standard on you on how you want them to view you. Right? So your expectations must be strong enough to drive your motivations. And that now takes me to the opportunity tips, the opportunity hats. There are lots of them, some of them within the transferable skills and all that, but more or less just do some cherry picking. Many often miss opportunities because they fail to read eligibility criteria carefully. If you've seen the call for postdoctoral positions or grant applications, particularly for grant application, you get to see that it can even be up to 50-page document just for you to read, and you must read carefully. What about networking skills? Many might not even know how to manage emails. You must know how to manage your emails. You must know how to respond to emails. You must know how to, kickstart a conversation with someone. I'm going to emphasize always have a good elevated pitch about yourself and prepare for every event. No event is too small. And the elevated speeches shouldn't be more than 1 minute. Whoever that wants to help you, the person just needs you to speak for just 1 minute. And you must be able to summarize who you are and why you need it. The passion must flow out just during that 1 minute. Many of us might be seeing the video going around of the Akwa Ibom, the woman that the Akwa Ibom governor helped. If you watch that video carefully, the woman was able to summarize her passion, what she needs, everything that she wants within 1 minute. Quite convincing. So elevator pitch, you must know that. Good communication skills. It's not just about speaking English or, I have the linguistic privilege. It's not about that. It's not about forging sentences and right tenses, but it's about having 4 tips. It's about having 4 indispensable components. Is your communication respectful? Do you demonstrate empathy with it? Are you honest about your communication? And most importantly, do you show care? But the one that I really want to emphasize on is the commercial interest. Build transferable skills. It's a competitive skill. But I want to identify, or let's say, emphasize on the commercial interest. Babajide has said a lot of things, but the question is, if you're in academic space, how do you pivot into the commercial space? There was this statistics that came out that a lot of people seeking academic doctoral positions often get turned down just because of one thing. They don't show how they can pivot into the commercial space. They don't show how they can make the academic skills, translate into profit. And that is whoever that wants to employ you as a PhD holder or as a master's degree holder, they need your own skill. They don't need the academic jargons where you get to, talk in academic tone. They want something, how they can get profit from your knowledge. So it's not you coming in there with the academic whatever and all that. That's not what they want. So never put money first. So I'll just run through this. But where am I relevant? Specific. This is more or less specific to academic positions. So you've seen where you can be relevant: academic, public sector, commercial, nonprofit, self-employment. But I want to emphasize the fact that you need to talk to colleagues within and outside university about the opportunities available. The informal market or the informal job market now reside within the informal networking. You meet someone at conference or seminar workshops and all that. How do you maintain that relationship? Then actively contribute to the research profile of your department by consistently producing work for publications. For instance, my university here at University of Chester, I've contributed 5 articles within the space of 2.5 years to their research excellence framework. Because the question is, even when they want to decide, like, you are somewhere, they want to decide, maybe we'll want this person, want to renew their contract and all that. The question is, they want to be like, what is it that you contributed? The third American, let's say the 35th American president once said something, said, my fellow Americans, ask not what your country can do for you, but ask what you can do for your country. Your presence must always be an asset, not a liability. So if they've noticed that you contributed a lot to their own research profile, the word of Bill Clinton comes into play, that there's nothing wrong with Americans that cannot be cured with something right with Americans. So you must show that willingness to gain more relevant qualifications and experience that commensurate with your role. And that now takes me to what are now the opportunities there? There are 4 broad opportunities, broad ways into academic space. Scholarship opportunities. I've had the privilege of being a scholar all through my life. My undergraduate degree, I was an Agbami scholar. Master's, I was a TED Fund scholar, and a PhD, I'm a Commonwealth scholar. So I understand the heart and science of what it means to win a scholarship. So that's one way that you can get into an academic space. Oh, we now have them. It could be fellowships, it could be studentships. Fellowships are more or less, maybe postdoctoral position where you want to test the needed skill, or you want to test the skills that you've attained. Or it could be, master's in research after you graduated, you want to test that in field. Or what about studentship? Studentship could be a supervisor-led project. It's common in the US, some in the UK, kind of. Probably a supervisor has received, let's say, quality grant. And in a way, it feels like, okay, I need some research students to come in. And you need to demonstrate potential. But you can't get to that point if you don't have the experience, if you don't have the motivation and the realistic expectations. Then academia, teaching and research. I've been in teaching for nearly a decade, or let's just say around that now, right? But how do you get into that point? Because in academics, there are just 3 things they're looking out for. They're looking at how grounded you are academically, professionally, and the voluntary work, or we'll call it community service. So then as research fellows, postdoctoral positions, there's another way into academia. Then the last one, which is a big one, the research grants. I've had the opportunity of winning at least 2 research grants in my life. I won the TED Fund IPR-based research grant of 2 million naira, and I won a Commonwealth research grant of £15,000. These are small grants, but they're not easy to win. They're not easy to win. So if you demonstrate those 3 E's, you can actually get to that point. But I must say this, that winning a research grant, there are some things that you must have, depending on the type of grant that you want. Imagine you are applying for a grant of £2.1 million. Definitely for you to be a principal investigator, you must be a PhD holder. And you must have demonstrated experience at every hands-on opportunity that you get. So these are more or less the 4 ways. So, but I had to include this at the time, meaning that there are some changes that you need to be aware of when you are talking about, getting opportunity. And they are framed around the economic and technological factors. When COVID-19 came, we know the kind of violence that struck the economic landscape of the world. And to the point that there was this massive diversion of funds into seeking seeking vaccines and remedy to COVID-19. Now imagine other fields. Some suffered violence, some were made redundant. So if you are trying to choose a career, you must be aware of these changes, right? Then the technological factor, we know what AI has done. AI is revolutionizing the entire landscape today. So just for us to, and I'll cite an example very quickly. I remember during our internship, and when we're coming back, wanted to defend our IT and all that, and we're told, as you are coming in, if you're not saying anything about GIS, you're not welcome. They already have a predetermined mind, the kind of mark that they want to give you. That was GIS revolutionizing everything. A decade before, that was AutoCAD. Now we're talking about remote sensing and complex machine learning and all that. So you must be aware. And I'll refer us to what Thomas Jefferson, the 3rd American president, once said. He said, vigilance is the eternal price of liberty. You must be self-aware of these changes. If you want to pivot into new career, be aware of these changes. And that takes me to my final slide, or penultimate. What are now the useful links to build a formidable career? I'll share this with you. The Institute of Student Employees, it's a represent over 750 member organizations. They recruit, people with a degree. Find your space there. Oh, what about Vitahe? Vitahe talks about the 4 components that it builds you up, how to find yourself within the academic space. You'll be surprised when you download the PDF that just try download the PDF and see where you situate. Be honest with yourself. Then for research grants, yes, there are small grants, the first one, or you could have a look at British Academy or UKVI or UKRI, United Kingdom Research and Innovation. There are a lot of funding opportunities there, but I must say that those are for early career researchers, those with PhD, or perhaps getting to PhD or postdoctoral. But you see all those small research grants, it's for urban planners, that have just received their first degree of that just graduated first degree and the second degree as well. You can get small grants to forge ahead. Then I can emphasize training. For instance, at EPGM training, I've had the opportunity of having nothing less than 30 training. If you want to learn about research, you might want to try EPGM. It's managed by Sage. And for academic jobs, for studentships and all that, you could search jobs.ac.uk. You get to have a lot of studentship positions, and you can find your way from there. So I'll conclude by saying that the opportunities are there, but it's about how we get there. So as whoever that wants to find themselves within the academic space to do what we do, which includes teaching, research, and community service, there's some things that you need to do. Thank you very much. Thank you for having me. I'll stop by sharing now.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, TPL Olalekan Oduloju. Thank you very much for coming. Thank you very much. We really appreciate your insight, your knowledge, and everything. Thank you for coming. We really appreciate. And now we are on to questions and answer. So that won't take much of our time. I believe all our attendees have written 1 or 2 other questions that they have for our speakers. For our first speaker, Mr. Babajide Oluwase, who talk on funding opportunities in academia, exploring grants, scholarships, research and funding. And our second speaker, who speak on entrepreneurial and non-research financial opportunities, identifying business, consultancy, and alternative funding avenues for professionals. So we have few minutes to do that. So can we have our questions? You can drop it in the chat, or you can just signify by coming on now and ask your questions. Questions. I believe we have questions. Are we not following up? Anyone with questions? Or we should move on to the next. If there is no questions from our attendees, I believe we all understand what our speakers have spoken about, and we'll be able to put them into use, be able to make use of them and in our okay. Oh, sorry. That's a mistake from me on my end. Sorry. I can see that. So I made a mistake with those who spoke on. Okay. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for that one. Thank you very much for that. Do we have questions? I'm still expecting our questions. Okay. If in the absence of any question, I would like to ask Mr. Olalekan Adedoju. Okay, while I combine my own question, I would like to welcome Director of Finance and Logistics to do the announcement for us. I believe if there is no question, we all get what our guests have talked about. And if we want to have access to more of these, we can drop our question in the chat box, or can find a way to reach out to them another time. So I would like to invite the Director of Finance and Logistics. Director of Finance and Logistics, are you there? So give us the announcement while I convey. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Moderator, for moderating as well. And also, before I start, my name is Olufemi Clement, one of the directors of City Vision here. And I would like to also thank our speakers for their insightful and engaging presentations, and their expertise and the knowledge you've shared with us today are truly valuable, and we appreciate your time and effort. Now, following this amazing presentation, Visionary Initiative for Urban Development, we are proud to launch this flagship initiative to connect young planners with transformative opportunities. Now, with urbanization and climate challenges evolving rapidly, equipping emerging professionals with specialized skills and support is more critical than ever. Now, this initiative is designed to empower the next generations of urban planners, providing essential knowledge, mentorship, and resources to navigate their careers successfully. And through this awareness sections, skill building workshops, collaborative growth shared, and we aim to bridge the gap between ambition and opportunity. Now, at the completion of this vaccine, can you hear me, guys? Can everyone hear me, please?
Yes, please.
So, anyways, would
Yes, we
be
can hear you now. Be like, it's like you're having a
oh,
network issue
so
from your side.
we're releasing the application link. Yeah, yes, sorry about that. My net
Femi, can
is not stable at the moment. Sorry about that. So we'll be releasing the
Hello.
application link soon for
Okay, we can hear
interested
you now.
candidates. And due to the exclusive nature of this flagship event, participation will be highly selective and applications will be carefully reviewed. And sorry, can you guys hear me? Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Oh, sorry about that, guys. So, anyways, we'll be releasing our link soon, and we hope everyone can jump on the opportunity. Thank you, guys.
Mr. Olufemi, are you still with us? Network from your end is not so good.
Yeah, Mr. Moderator, you can go ahead.
Network from Mr. Olufemi and is not very good. But I think we can see the slide he's trying to talk about, and can see the announcement proper. So I think we should have our questions now. I think we should have our questions now. So from the look of things, it's like we are all satisfied with what our guest speaker have said, and we are quite happy with what we've learned today. I hope we put them to use, and I hope we jot something down. And after this, we would like to share the slides so that we can also go ahead and study it. Any financial power in urban and regional planning is just as easy as they've point to us. It's just as clean as they've taught us. We have two people here who have won grant of 20 million naira, grant of 2 million naira, grants. You can see that they are not just town planners, they are vast in what they do, and they are very, very knowledgeable. They are people that they have the experience and they have the backing they show workings, like Mr. Babajide said, they show workings and they are good. They are good example onto those who are coming up. Thank you for joining our program, and we are very sorry for the hiccups about the networks. Thank you very much. Don't forget, the topic is unlocking financial opportunities for urban planners and academia and entrepreneurship. Thank you for joining our program. On to another, and I would like to say thank you a lot to to TPL Olalekan Adeloju. We say thank you very much, sir. May God increase your knowledge. Thank you for coming. Thank you for blessing us with your knowledge. Thank you for blessing us with your experience. And to Mr. Babajide Oluwasetu, thank you very much. That was an exciting one. That was a great one from you too. Thank you very much. On behalf of City Visionaries Initiative for Urban Development, I want to say thank you to all the attendees too. Thank you. I hope you gain one or two. Thank you for coming. On this note, I would like to say goodbye, everyone. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Shalai. Bye bye, everyone.